Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Nasty Sanchez and welcome back to some more Need for Speed Most Wanted. Today we take on Ronnie, and I'm not saying this is a difficult fight, or I don't want to, but it is. He drives not the McLaren, that's the Mercedes-Benz. He drives an Aston Martin DB9, I believe, and I won't lie, it's a pretty good car. He doesn't have it fully upgraded though. I end up getting the pink slip and fully upgrading it, but for now, I just want to show you a little bit of this Viper that I ended up winning from JV last game. I mean, it was, I definitely talked it down. With a little bit of upgrading, it definitely can do a lot of work. It ended up being my most proficient overall car, but I mean, just like it has that great like Porsche driving feeling whenever you just have that total stability of your car, total control. It's not like with the Lamborghini when you go into a turn you can feel the back wheels spinning and the sides are, whenever you turn, the back end just goes everywhere. It's a real solid, low to the ground, solid turning car, and I just love that about it. There you saw in the drag race that it literally handles so good, other than the fact that, you know, the drag racing controls is you have to shimmy back and forth in between lanes. But I mean, there's not much you can do about that. For here, I just completely love the fact that it has that Lamborghini slash, there you see me mess up, I ended up taking vlogs, and I was hoping that I might go trap the person who was in first, but he got by and ended up just costing myself a little bit. I get it back. Yeah, but I just love the whole fact of how the Viper has that Lamborghini speed, it has that Ford GT speed, it has the overall great speed to it, but then it has that amazing handling that you can get in not too many cars in this game actually. But even then, whenever I say it has handling like the Porsche, whenever you go into turns, it still has that, you can still feel how it has that sway back and forth to it. And that I just really don't like that in the car. And I don't know what I hit there. I guess it was just like, there's a lot of invisible walls in the game where it's like very edgy corners because they didn't smooth it out very well, and that's one of the biggest things for me. Whenever I do a real nice drift around the corner real close, and I end up hitting something, and I have to go from 0 to whatever I was doing again, and that's a real letdown. Now here I did do this race one time before, and I ended up like, I was doing so great up until the end when I crashed into a car, and the person in second place just blew right by me. And that was a big letdown. I mean, another thing is you don't see me doing that spin out like I did there too much, especially around those larger corners, and that's one of the tighter turns in the game, and it just kind of like, I mean, whenever you go into these, yeah, that does happen. And another thing I've managed to figure out is whenever you do that time break and you slide one way, if you do it exactly at the other time or in the other direction, at like right afterwards, it just swings your car back in the right motion, and you actually do what I feel would be a realistic drift. Now here you see me, I'm hauling it, I'm going 160, probably pushing into 170 up here towards the end, and just working the curve real nice. I mean, there I end up crashing again, but I mean, this car is a real solid car. If I would have been on my top 8 game during this race, I definitely would have been doing a lot of more work than you can see me putting in here. But I mean, if like you had someone, I'm just gonna use the term MLG, which ends in that adherent to this game, but anyhow, like if you had someone who played the game professionally, loved the game, enjoyed the game, and was like spot on for every race, memorized everything, and he was driving this car, he could definitely manage to swerve around heavy levels of traffic in basically any race. Now, Ronnie, I'm not sure if his coding is messed up during his races or something, but as we'll see in the video, it's some glitchy stuff was going on, and I just kind of went with it, and you'll see what happens. I hate to jump over the topic, but it keeps you interested a little bit. I mean, here again, you see me, I'm going through the curves real nice, and and I just ended up just winning by a long shot, just for the fact of how nice he grabs those turns. Now here is a police chase. I ended up, I couldn't get enough bounty. Like I would just go in, hit a Corvette, total it, and then go hide. But I mean, here I had the whole Corvette squad on me. I tried to hide from like one Corvette like we usually do, and I ended up like having this whole squad on me. There I got 15,000 bounty, and I watched my bounty go up, and how much it goes up from hitting the cement block. I ended up hitting it, it was around 188. Now it's up to 540 something, and that's just incredible. The fact that you get 20,000 per Corvette, and that's how many Corvettes I had on me, especially just going through one breaker. Now, I actually wanted you to see my end bounty on this. This really will help me out for bull, because another thing is it's hard to get bounty for bull, especially with that Corvette squad on you. And there, I just did an amazing run. Now to the boss race. Yeah, he does drive the Aston Martin. It's a pretty solid car, except for the fact that it lacks in handling other than acceleration and max speed to balance out. I do have to purchase a new suspension. He only has Super Pro suspension and Super Pro engine in it, but even then it just runs really good. Now I love the scheme of his decals on this, but I ended up just picking a new color scheme for it, and I ended up just getting rid of the decals completely because I just couldn't make it look nice. Actually no, because he has that green. The green in there kind of threw me off, and if it was black I wouldn't have any issues with it, but that yellow and green paint job, if it was yellow and black, I would have a lot better luck with it. Now, I don't understand what I was doing at the top of this ramp. You'll see me here. I'm just chilling at the top of the ramp there, and just slowly drive down. I think that's very anticlimactic, but hey, game developers. Now, this is another one of those races where you start off the track and have to go onto the track, and that's the only place where you see the starting flares. And I kind of hate that because I kind of use the starting flares as a guideline of where I'm going, and I don't have to look at the mini-map much. I mean, the mini-map helps a little bit, but I mean, the flares are definitely an indicator that that's where you're supposed to go, and it just, I guess you could say it threw me off a little bit if I'm looking for an excuse, but I mean, I did most of these races pretty flawless in the first try. I mean, like, I had a lot of mistakes, like right there, how I did the spin out. The rain didn't exactly help. Now the rain does affect the traction of the car. In this game, in the older versions, it did not, but yeah, now it does. And I mean, look at this. It's just me and him battling it out, neck and neck for a lot of the races. And in other terms, it's just me behind him, hitting the NOS trying to get ahead, and I'm barely in front of him. He's hitting the NOS trying to get ahead of me. That's basically a lot of this race. Now, his tracks, his first track and his last track end up being the same thing, just backwards. Now, if you'll see here, he ended up crashing back there, but some weird stuff starts happening. I mean, I go into this jump, I do a turn, but that's not what's weird about it. I end up crashing, and then you see how fast he caught up to me already. You can already see him starting to move on that mini-map closer towards me, and I had to go around that big loop, and he didn't. So, you know, I just kind of faded off. I just go back around through, and I mean, I go about my business, and I was like, hopefully I can get him trapped in there again, and you'll see what happens. Now, again, that's not my smoothest turn. I more or less just kind of hit the NOS trying to accelerate because I really want to keep that big lead. I caught up on him, and it ends up, you know, I just crashed into that thing. Now I end up getting it the third time, and I was very impressed with myself about that. I don't know why. Just one of those things. Now, another thing is, if I remind you guys to look into the background, this game has not a beautiful background, but it has a very detailed background. Like, if you look out, you'll see the buildings, the cities, the mountains, and that's just something that I've been noticing recently. Whenever, you know, like looking at all the factories, looking at all the industrial zones, and especially whenever you see those very few skyscrapers that they put around. But I think that was a nice detail they added, and they ended up doing that. And I think it's just a really cool effect of the game. Now there I hit that nice drift, I go into this turn really nice, and then hit the wall. Now you'll see he ends up like kind of getting stuck, but he teleports right in front of me. And I'm like, what is this? Like, okay game, is this really your catch-up mode now? Am I so far ahead that I broke the catch-up mode? And that's what I'm thinking I did. I literally, like, you're not supposed to be that far ahead of him, but he ends up, like, doing that, like, he teleports, and then he glitches. Now, see, there, I'm doing that, whenever you do one way or the other, I ended up losing complete control of the car, and I had to do it, like, 3 or 4 times to catch myself. Now, what he did was, he did that, he teleported, and then the game corrected itself because I was in the field of view, which it's not supposed to do that. That's more or less a thing that kind of does the math and does catch-up mode on its own, and then he just kind of like appears behind you. But it shows him like creeping up on you in the mini map like a loading bar sort of. But I mean, he ends up glitching into the map. The game realizes its mistake, and then it tries to put him back down and through, and then it's a sort of standoff. Now there, I'm ahead of him by 38 seconds. That's almost 40 seconds. If you think how long 40 seconds is of racing, that's like me taking off, being halfway done with a sprint race whenever you just now start. That's a crazy advantage, and you'll see I do take advantage of that here. I literally don't see him for the rest of the race on the track. But he does creep up again, and it doesn't really help him out that much. See, 20 seconds. I end up going through that jump really smoothly, landing the jump, go into that time breaker, hit the NOS, and just go through that little shortcut that I've been hitting all day, and it's just right there, right up through the middle, and right there, finished the first race. Now, I did think that was a little bit unique how he did have his that little glitch out there. I think that's something really cool that I wanted to share with you guys, along with that giant Corvette bounty pileup that I had. That might be a good boosting technique, I think. But it's very dangerous because, again, with all the Corvettes, if you get 8-10 Corvettes on you, that's a lot of bounty, but it's 8-10 Corvettes on you if you get 2 or 3 like up on your butt. You're gonna have a lot of issues because they're gonna be trying to spin you out, and whenever you get spun out, or at least slow down enough that those other 8-10 Corvettes can jump on you, that's whenever issues start coming. Now here in the second one, sprint race, I end up dominating for like about the first half. I just execute the turns real nice, hit the NOS in all the right spots, and I just love the way I did this. I think I executed perfectly. Now a lot of this game is executing. It's not. Yeah, I have a very fast car with acceleration. I have a lot of that. That's a good part of it, but a lot of it, I would say probably about 40% is executing and getting where you need to be. Like swerving in and out of traffic, hitting the right shortcuts, making sure you're going the right speed to make a jump. Because like, especially right where I just passed the prison, if you don't make the jump correctly, a lot of the times, with slower cars, especially, I already said this, you end up doing that thing where you hit your back end and you wobble, and yeah, it's not a good thing. Now, in a police chase, an amazing thing happened. I'm gonna see if I can find it, but I was in this car, the Viper, and I hit an SUV. And I hit it with such momentum, I ended up doing a complete backflip and stuck the landing and continued going. I'll see if I can find that for you guys, and I'll probably tack it on the end of this video. It was just, that's the first thing I ever heard of, especially with such a car that has such downforce on it, has such a low center of gravity, especially whenever I hit it, that I flipped over. That I just found that really cool. But I mean, if I can't find it, I'm not gonna like over commentate for it, and I'm just gonna do my regular exit and get it over with. But that's something I kind of wanted to really show you guys, but oh well if I can't find it. I just want to share that with you guys. It's a very cool thing. If you ever had a backflip, post it in the comments. if you ever done anything cool, post in the comments with the description, and I kind of like to check it out. Now here you see me, I love whenever I'm going this 160, 170, even I've gone up to like 200 in the last episode going through these rural areas, not rural, these industrial, like city areas, just going through turns real nice, going, because with these, like the Viper and the C6, you just hug the turns so nice. And I think that's a really cool picture where you're going over it and you hit that jump shadow there, and you have that shadowing effect from underneath your car. Now here I literally just back up, turn around, and now we're doing the first race in reverse within the 2 laps. Now in this, I don't think he gets glitched out, but I mean, whenever he first got glitched out, that was something interesting. Now here, I end up hitting the drift real nice in that turn. Both times I do it, and I just completely love it. I don't know if it's because the physics in the game are a little bit janky sometimes. I do notice whenever I'm driving, some of the cars have a magnetic pull, almost. It's like your car has a gravitational pull, and you'll be driving on like the sidewalk, and the cars will sometimes like you'll hit the very edge of their car, and it'll like the whole car would just like slide backwards with you. I have noticed that with some, so I'm not sure if they end up doing that with that, since that is such a hard cut to make. But I've ended up making it both times, and it's not that hard with Timebreaker, but the first time I feel was a lot more impressive since I did do it just with a natural drift. Now here you see he does get ahead of me. He does get the huge, not huge, but this is where he makes his mistake. He tries to go through the middle, ends up getting caught on one of the pillars, and then he just kind of meets me on the other end. But I already have such a huge speed bonus on him, I can just go up through there, and then especially since he doesn't have an ultimate suspension and engine, I take advantage of that. I hit the NOS. I just keep it all even pretty much. Just keep going through my motions, and end up usually beating him on most of the stuff that he creeps up behind me. Like I said, this game's all about executing. I'd say it's probably 40% executing. A lot of its other is just quick reaction time, which goes along with executing, I guess. Like right here, like going up through that tiny gap right there, that's definitely goes into executing. It also keeps that, you need that quick reflex to, hit the NOS. You need the, I guess, the knowledge, but I guess you kind of learn as you play. But I guess you would need the knowledge to, how the game works, how if you hit the NOS, you end up going forward. It helps out whenever you speed brake, but you don't speed up whenever you use it when you're in speed brake. That's all just stuff I think you kind of need to know in order to play the game efficiently. Now you see here he ends up getting ahead of me again, and I'm just like, no, this can't happen. So, I used up all my NOS. I'm in kind of a sneaky situation. But one other thing they do in this game is they love to keep their cars clean. They won't do that speed brake and slide in corners that I do. They'll slow down, hit their e-brakes, slow down it to the exact point, and then do a nice like 30 mile/hour turn. And that's something that I really like to take advantage to, especially like how you see in there. Whenever I slide into them, and that ends up slowing them down a little bit, it ends up saving me because I don't run into the wall and I don't have to. It ends up saving me, I'd say 30 or 40 miles an hour. That's just some tips that help me out. Another thing is speed braking around corners. I like to take advantage of my speed breaker, like around like turns like this. You could definitely make it without the speed breaker if you just take more of a wider approach. I like to abuse the speed breaker a lot just to take those nice even turns. And yeah, we just beat Ronnie. So we ended up getting the pink slip, like I said. If you go back through my videos and follow the exact pattern, you should have what I'm doing and go 1 2 3 1 2 3 back and forth with all the pink slips. I've pretty much figured out a pattern at this point, and it just pretty much works. Now the next one should be in the middle, and then razors should be on the far right, question mark. Now, I'm not sure what I did in the first couple episodes. Before the end of the series, I will go back and figure out what I actually did to do it, and I'll probably put that in the last episode. I might even put it in the next episode. Like I said, this is for you guys. I'm trying to help you out as much as you can, even though a lot of people aren't even playing this anymore. But it should apply for even the new one. Now up next we have Bull. He drives the, not Aston Martin, he drives the McLaren, second fastest car in the game. Second fastest, quote quote, compared to the BMW, even though I don't think it's that, I don't really think it's that good of a car. But yeah, I'll see if I can put that, tag that video of the backflip on the end of the video. But other than that, I am Nasty Sanchez, and I will see you in the next one. This is me signing off. See ya.